this sound would help. Welcome to my live, LightMinded Live. I'm waiting for a few of y'all to kind of get in here, but just cleansing the space. I hope that each and every one of y'all are doing well. Just trying to decide where I'm going to put my sage at. I'll put it right there. But yeah, and if you're watching this in the replay, this is still going to be very interactive. If you want to comment, I definitely come back and look at all of the comments. Okay. So, hello, happy Friday. My name is Tony. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Texas, Idaho, South Carolina. I'm also a psychic medium. I've done hundreds of readings for people. I'm into tarot, very intuitive messages, and also I am a licensed Reiki master, which is energy healing. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today was, literally a lot of your healing starts in your mind. Um, when it comes to being a energy healer, one thing that I've learned with working with a lot of clients is that most of the healing is typically not like physical things like a knee or a hip. A lot of times it is mental. So a lot of times when I am doing those distant healing Reiki or even in person, I've noticed that most of the congestion is in that person's mind. And I think that is how anxiety and depression can happen. And just in general, when you get a lot of heavy energies in your body, unfortunately, it can turn into diseases, it can turn into certain symptoms. So that is why the title is, the healing really starts with your mind. But yeah, I was just waiting for a few of y'all to get in here. So yeah, when y'all think about what the state of your mind is right now, what analogy do you think of? And if you're in the replay, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Um, as a therapist, I typically like to create pictures. So when I think about the mind, I try to compare it to like your mind is a garden. So like how would your garden look right now, right? Is your garden filled with weeds? Is it filled with fruit, vegetables, maybe wildflowers, vegetation that serves you? Or is it, you know, filled with weeds or things that are very invasive? Um, yeah, but I would love to hear in the comments, like when you think about the state of your mind, like what would that picture be if you were to have a snapshot of it? I've had previous people tell me, if they're feeling like super anxious, that they feel like their mind is like a traffic jam, or a car accident. Like it's been some very interesting analogies. But even with that, that's visualization. If you're able to think that and visualize that your mind is a garden and you see your healthy tomatoes and you see your peach tree and maybe you see one or two weeds, you going in there and like visually taking the weeds out and like putting it in like a trash can or a bag, that is so powerful because your brain does not know the difference between reality and imagination. So even something like that, even if you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many weeds in my garden, there's trash everywhere, debris everywhere. I just haven't been taking care of my garden. That could be a visualization exercise that you practice for 5 or 10 minutes and just check in with yourself and see like how much lighter you feel after that. So yes, your mind, the things that you think, the things that you say are so important to your physical body. How everything works properly. Um, what starts off right here is going to affect your energy. Not only is it going to affect your energy, it's going to affect your relationship with yourself. It's going to affect relationships with other people. Because when you are meeting people, the foundation of their relationships with their self is going to be how they show up. So that's why a lot of times when I am talking to clients in therapy, I always ask, do you feel like this is your work that you're doing or is somebody else's work spilling over to you? I have a great picture for this. So Imagine you are at a restaurant and hi there. Imagine you go to the restaurant and the hostess is like, you gotta find your seat. You find your seat, you take your order, and then the waitress is like, oh, well, by the way, you have to cook your food. So you go in the back, you cook your food, you come back out, you eat your food, and then by the way, the waitress is like, you have to pay for your food. So you pay for your food, you do the dishes, you take the trash out. Like, realistically, like, would you ever go back to a restaurant like that? Most people would probably say no. And that analogy right there, that picture of you going to the restaurant and like filling all these roles, is almost like, is someone's work being kind of put onto you that's not yours, or is it your work to do? Because oftentimes we can do other people's work, and it just drains us. So yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining the live golden moment. I was just asking, when you think about the state of your mind right now, like, what picture do you see? And I was given the analogy of your mind is a garden, and it might be filled with weeds, or it might be filled with like healthy tomatoes, healthy plants and vegetables. Um, Sometimes people visualize their mind as a traffic jam. Um, but these visualization exercises can really check in with yourself. I had someone tell me one time, my mind is kind of reminding me of a dumpster fire. So if you're able to kind of stop and pause and check in with yourself, um, and just ask yourself, what is the state of my mind right now? And depending on the image that you see, utilizing your intuition, it could be an indication of some unmet needs. And maybe you need to meet some physical needs, or maybe you need to meet some emotional needs. So, hmm. But yes, when it comes to um, healing your mind, I'm gonna go ahead, and I've already meditated and connected with my guides. Now let's see what messages they have for the collective. My guides are showing me somebody like with their hands on their head, and it looks like they have a headache. So some of you out there, the collective, if you're dealing with like any migraines or headaches or tension in your shoulder area, um, these messages might be for you. Because I also get the message of, if you are dealing with um, any type of migraines or headaches, just remember that you're not your circumstances. Your circumstances can change. Just because you've had migraines for the last, 2 years doesn't mean that you're going to have them for the rest of your life. So also remembering, like, you are not your circumstances, you are your state of being. So you can always check in with yourself. And I'm not saying, like, if you have a migraine, like, just smile about it and it's okay. No, what I want you to do is, if you feel uncomfortable in your body, I want you to ask yourself, how can I feel a little bit more comfortable in my body? Random, I just got like this face mask, and you put it in the freezer, and it helps with like sinuses and stuff. Maybe something as simple as a face mask that is warm or that is cold, or doing some skincare, or taking some allergy medicine or headache medicine, whatever the case is. But really pausing and asking yourself, how can I feel more comfortable in my body right now, is such a powerful question, because it's you always kind of checking in and considering yourself. Because most people I talk to, they consider their family, their friends, their romantic partners, they consider all of the people outside of them, but they don't really consider themselves an actual relationship. So if you don't consider yourself a whole person or a whole relationship, then how are you really knowing or being aware that you have needs that need to be met? All right, so we have step out of your comfort zone, North Node. So for some of you, for the collective, when it comes to healing your mind, using your mind to heal your body, Spirit is saying that, we need to do something different. We need to do something different. That kind of looks like, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, if you work from home, if you just kind of chill most of the time, what would something different be? Maybe that is taking a 10-minute walk twice a week. Just starting off small, seeing how it goes. Doing something different could look like, typically you eat, steak and burgers, and maybe one day you incorporate fish. So thinking about what your different is, what is it that you need to step out of your comfort zone in regards to movement, in regards to self-talk, how you're nurturing and taking care of your body, because this lifetime we only get one body, so we definitely want to make sure that we're treating our body with kindness and we're taking care of ourselves. Because I also noticed as a Reiki master, sometimes people can blame others for their shortcomings in life, or why they can't do this or why they can't do that. And, sometimes blaming other people and making yourself a victim can cause disease in your body. It can cause, stale energy to be stuck. So making sure that you're taking time to stand in your power. When you become the victim, when you blame other people, you are giving your power away. It's almost like a drain or like a leak in your energy. All right, what do you need to release? Do you need to release a person, a situation, a way of thinking, a job? What is it? What is it that you need to release? It can be small things. It can be super small things. But there's something that needs to be released so you can create this movement going forward. If you have any ideas, if you're watching the replay, of what you could release from your life or who you could release from your life, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. The answers you need are coming. I feel like for some of you, there may be some energy of uncertainty, of the unknown. Maybe you feel confused. My guides are showing me like a traffic jam. So maybe some of you are congested, or just frustrated with how things are going right now. And like I said, remember, you are not your circumstances, you are your state of being. So if you check in with yourself and you ask yourself, what is my state of being right now? And you visualize and you see, a traffic jam, or you see a broken glass, or you see a bird and its wing is hurt, then maybe that's showing that you are wounded right now, or you have some unmet needs. So really important to check in with your state of being, because I talk to people all the time and I'll hear people say, I don't believe in manifestation. And I'm like, well, that's okay. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in it. You are a energetic being and you are emitting frequencies. So whether you agree or believe or not, you are still attracting in people, situations, and things into your life by what you think, by what you ingest, by your actions, by your behavior. So why not be more intentional with your thoughts, with your actions and behaviors, so you can intentionally live the life that you want to live? And one way to live intentionally, and this is one thing that I do when I work with my clients, is exploring and identifying your values. And you may have to do this every few years, because as humans, we change, we grow, we evolve. But really thinking about Googling values list with definitions, you really want to think about what are your top 5 values, right? Because your values are the things that are going to guide you to your desires. Your values are the things that are going to provide you with a good, strong foundation of your why. So for the times when you don't feel motivated, you'll still be able to tap in and be disciplined. So your why will help you decide, what type of people have access to you. Your why will help you decide what your boundaries are. Your values are very important. Create your own luck. So for some of us, there could be some luck coming in, but Spirit is saying, hey, if you just sit on that couch and you just wait for the luck to come to you, it's probably not. That's one thing about the universe. If you want certain things, one, being grateful for the things and the people that you already have sends out a frequency of, I want more of that. And action creates momentum. And when you have momentum in your life, the universe is going to reward you for those things. Maybe you feel overwhelmed. Maybe you're like, I'm never going to lose this weight. I don't know how to lose weight. Well, you know what you're doing now, right? If you're eating, so many amount of calories, or, you're being sedentary and you're sitting on the couch, Doing something different could be, a 10-15 minute walk 2 or 3 times a week. So doing something different and trying to think about how can you create those healthy habits of like what your future self would be doing. Really important to have a vision of what you would like your future self to look like. Because if we stay stuck, a lot of us stay stuck really in the past of that past version of ourselves, then we'll be stuck. And then when we get to our future self, we may not even recognize ourselves. Remember your worth. Remember your worth. Your worth is internal. And a lot of times when I talk to people, their worth is defined by society. It's defined by people, how they perceive them. It's defined by their parents or their caregivers or their boss. But you're the only person that can really, define your worth. Because when you are letting others define your worth, you are literally letting your energy just drain out. So remember your worth. Remember why you're uniquely you. There's no one else on this earth like you, and like that's a pretty cool thing. And I hope that you're surrounding yourself with people that celebrate you, that encourage you on your journey. Find peace within. I love that. Even if your circumstances are not what you want them to be, you can always ask yourself how you can feel more comfortable in your body. You can always ask yourself, how can I support myself better? You can always ask yourself, what did I learn from these circumstances that might have been uncomfortable? So there's always ways to tap into your power, instead of like becoming the victim or coming from a place of lack of, I don't have enough. Knowing that there's always enough. And if you are going through a tough time and it's difficult for you to find your peace within, maybe finding 2 or 3 affirming statements that resonate with you. One of my go-to affirming statements is, I affirm and know that everything is working out in my favor, even when I don't know how it's working out. And when I say those affirming statements, it just makes me feel supported. All right, let's see what else we have. What other messages? Oh my goodness. Look at this. Compassion. You demonstrate the language of the heart by actively sharing and living love. I love that. And with this card, it's not only compassion to others, but it's compassion to yourself. Self-compassion is one of those things that is such a superpower. If you have like a low day or you have a day that's not that good, with that self-compassion, that's the test. That's when it's like, when things get tough, are you going to abandon yourself or are you going to show up for yourself? Saying affirming statements like, it's okay not to be okay. Also check out the links below. I have a freebie, which is a needs checklist, and you can see all the different type of needs, whether it's physical needs, whether it's emotional needs. Like emotional needs are like being validated, compassion, to be understood. But remember, when it comes to needs, it's not only other people meeting your needs, it's about you meeting your needs. So the work is on both sides. We can't expect people to meet all of our needs when we may not be showing up for ourselves. So, yes. How compassionate are you from 1 to 10 to yourself? Right? Drop it in the comments if you are in the replay. 1 to 10, 10 being super compassionate, super validating. Like, I'm curious, like, how compassionate are you to yourself? Because you are literally the only person that's in your head. So like, if you're the only person that's hearing your thoughts and your internal dialogue, like, why wouldn't you want to be your best friend? Why wouldn't you want to be your biggest supporter? Like, if the world is coming down on you or people are not supportive, like, it's so important to just show up for you. When maybe others don't have the capacity to do that. Okay, a 6. Well, 40% of the work is being aware. And if you're aware that your self compassion is at a 6 out of 10, then, that just means you just need to love on yourself more, whether it's self soothing. Um, your brain doesn't know the difference between you hugging yourself and a stranger hugging you. So practice some self soothing, whether it's hugging yourself, rubbing your shoulder, rubbing your leg. The physical touch is like is such a good way to let your body and let your brain know that you are safe. Hi there. Okay, golden moment at 8. Very beautiful. I love that. Okay, and then once I'm done with these channel messages, I'll be doing one free yes or no uh, pendulum reading. And if anybody wants to be added to the list, then go ahead and check out the description. The next card I have is forgiveness. Ooh, this is a tough one. I feel like as a therapist, a lot of times people are so quick to apologize to other people. And I'm like, what about you? What is it that you need to forgive yourself for? Before you apologize to anyone, we need to apologize for ourselves. Like, take those bricks out of that imaginary backpack that you have on. So, forgiveness, you are now able to activate the power of love in order to release past hurts. There are so many people that I talk to, and as a psychic medium, I can literally see people's auras. I can see, like, as I'm doing like Reiki healing or energy healing, that they may have gray in their aura, and that could be disease, that could be depression, and it's weighing down your energy fields can weigh your physical body down. There may not even be anything wrong with your body. What's going on in your mind may be making it difficult for your body to function the way that it wants to function, because our cells, our organs, like, it knows how to regenerate, it knows how to heal itself. But sometimes what goes on up here can disrupt what is going on. So just thinking about, is there anything that you need to forgive yourself for? Anything that your past self did or didn't do, because in that moment, like, you did the best you could with the tools you had. If you were in a very extreme situation, if you felt unsafe, and maybe you did or said things that were outside of your character, forgive yourself. There's no point in going on and carrying all that weight on. Ooh, I love that. Spot on. Okay. All right, Spirit, what other messages about healing the body with your mind? Having like 3 or 4 affirmations, affirming affirmations in regards to your health, like, each and every day I feel healthier, something like that. Your subconscious mind can't argue with you, right? As I go about my day, my cells, my organs are always trying to maintain a space of being harmonious, like, whatever kind of like resonates with you. I also work with a lot of clients that hate their body. They don't like their body, they don't like their face, they don't like their weight or their shape. Sometimes it's referred to as body dysmorphia. Some people experience gender dysphoria, whichever it is. But you only have one vessel this lifetime, you know? And when we hate our bodies or we don't like ourselves, it creates energy of resistance in our body. Some of us, our knee hurts and we don't know why. It could be negative self-talk, right? So really being mindful of the energy of resistance in your body. But I do have an exercise that is very helpful. And what it is gratitude. Scientists are studying how gratitude changes your energy, creates new neurons, creates new thinking paths, which creates new behaviors, right? So for example, like, some of us hate our bodies because we've had parents or caregivers shame us or guilt us or say that our body's not enough or it doesn't look right. So some of us may not like our bodies because of other people, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to think about, how are you grateful for your body in a functional way? Not aesthetic, right? Not the look of your body, but the function. Like, for me, I'm thankful for my ears because I have clear vision. I'm thankful for my eyes because I can see. I'm thankful for my hands because they allow me to pick stuff up. Maybe a tough area would be like your tummy area. I'm thankful for my stomach because it allows me to digest my food. So what that does is it balances out the energy of resistance for when you looked at your tummy and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a size 2, I'm a size 10. You know, like taking digs at yourself. Um, I'm thankful for my legs because I can walk. Everybody doesn't have the ability to walk. So, thinking about ways of how you can focus on the gratitude of your functioning body versus the aesthetics is a game changer. And the thing is, your brain is going to believe it. If you say something like, I'm thankful for, I don't know, I'm thankful for my body because of X, Y, and Z, you want to make sure it's something that your brain will believe. And typically, the way that your body functions, like you're thankful for it. Because if you were to get sick or some type of injury, you would grieve that part of your body that you used to kind of take for granted. So, trying to love that body, going back to self-compassion is so important to love your body. Speak love into your body, almost as if like your words are like magical spells. Okay, Spirit, what other messages? All right, King of Cups. This is a very nurturing and generous energy. This is a very abundant energy. So this is like pouring more into yourself. A lot of times in society, we are almost programmed to serve others. How are others feeling? How do we manage other people's emotions? And we focus so much of the external. When do we really get an opportunity to focus on ourselves? So I feel like this is a reminder to make sure that you are filling up your cup, right? Using your energy the way that you want to use it. And making sure you don't have people around you abusing your energy. Make sure you're protecting your energy and your peace. If you wake up and out of 100%, you only have 60% of energy and you're running low, then a good 45% of that energy should be left on you. And everything else should be divided up to what and who you want to, give that energy to. But I noticed that a lot of times with people, they will give all their energy away to that partner, to their kids, to that work situation. And then at the end of the day, they're just like, you know what? This is all I have to give to myself. And you're left with crumbs. So definitely get in this King of Cups energy and make sure you are filling up your cup. You are nurturing yourself and make sure you're taking care of yourself, because every relationship in your life is temporary, whether it's 10 years, whether it's 10 months, or whether it's 100 years. But the only permanent relationship is the one with yourself. So definitely make sure you are making yourself a priority and not an option. That is very important. 8 of Wands. So this is about communication. This is information coming in and out. This is typically like good news coming in as well. Wands energy is, a creative energy. Did you know that creativity is on my needs list? Like when we have unmet needs, like uh, being creative is one of the things that can really fill up your cup. So I love this. So maybe we're going to have some good news coming in, some messages coming in. Maybe there's going to be some connections coming in. Yeah, definitely going to have some good news coming in with the Page of Wands. Something that's going to make us excited. Something that's going to put a smile on our face. So I love that. Okay, so this is letting me know the energy is going to be just and fair. So if you're in a situation where you feel like it's unfair or you're not being treated right, know that everything balances itself out. The more you focus on yourself and your needs, the more things flourish. Because sometimes people will go out their way to focus on the fear, the devil. They will focus on the fear, will focus on these imaginary chains that they have on them. But the thing is, it's imaginary. You can just loosen the chains up and you're out of them. So make sure you're not allowing fear to control you, because fear in the mind is just nothing but weeds in your garden. You definitely want to make sure, especially like before you go to sleep, your subconscious mind is wide open. Before you go to sleep, that is not the time that you want to worry. That is not the time that you want to stress out or beat yourself up. At night, when you're winding down, that is the time that you want to pour into yourself. So in the morning for 10 minutes or at night before you go to sleep for 10 minutes, listen to some affirming statements. You can even find a couple of affirming statements that resonate with you. Send yourself a voice memo. Listen to your own voice when you're listening to affirmations. You don't necessarily have to listen to affirmations on YouTube, but just being mindful of the fear or the worries, because a lot of times anxiety is in the future and depression is in the past. So yeah. Another thing that may help with this devil energy is focusing on the outcome that you would like to see. If you had a magical wand, say you have a dilemma, say you have a magical wand, and if you could just tell me in detail, how you would like that outcome to kind of unfold, focus on that. Give your brain something to focus on. Instead of focusing on the things that, the outcomes that you don't want to see. Focus on what you do want, not on what you don't want. Because the universe is neutral. It doesn't know the difference between I don't want that and I do want that. Like being very intentional with the words that you speak. Oh my goodness, look at this. 10 of coins. Very beautiful. I just feel like with the self-compassion, with the self-talk, there's so much abundance that you can attract into your life. And I feel like the more you fill up your cup, the more you love yourself. Not only emotionally are you going to feel like more secure, but like financially, emotionally, spiritually, like you're just going to feel like that girl or that guy. I can always tell when I look at people when they have that inner glow. And it's not skincare. It is just them simply loving themselves, being obsessed with themselves. And it's not in a way that they don't have people that they love or people in their inner circle. But some people you can just look at and you can just tell that they really are intentional with themselves. They really take care of themselves. And I feel like if more people were like that, we would definitely be a much happier planet. But oh my gosh, thank you, Spirit. These messages were on point. Spirit always has the best messages. And, these messages are for me too. We're all human and we can deal with, worries and struggles and things like that. And just to throw it out there, if you are looking for a mental health therapist, I'm licensed in Texas, South Carolina, and Idaho. I only see clients virtually. If you're looking for more of a spiritual coach or a mindset coach, definitely check out all my links below. Yes. I'll be on here for a little bit longer if anybody had any general questions. Yeah. You guys have any general questions? I'll be doing one free yes or no pendulum question if y'all have a question y'all want answered. But this was such a good energy exchange. I feel like the messages were like chef's kiss. But yes, let me know any yes or no questions anybody wants asked. Oh, I got my tea this time, so I'm ready. Yes. Any yes or no questions? One free yes or no question. If you would like to sign up for a reading, I do personal readings. If you want Reiki healing, all of my links are below. All of my services are below as well. If you're on the replay, if there's certain things that you would like to see or certain questions you have about spirituality or mental health in general, put it in the comments and I'll definitely either create a live or content for it. All right. Well, this has been such a lovely energy exchange. Definitely make sure you like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Y'all know I randomly get on live. I have not gotten the schedule down yet. So definitely turn on your notifications because I do like offering like freebies, like my needs list. You can click my link below to check out the needs list. It's a freebie for you all. And yeah, I hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye.